Welcome to Everyday Tarot, your daily dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille A. Saunders, healer, tarot extraordinaire, and your local witch next door. And today I'll be talking about the Three of Pentacles. Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers daily insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for fresh perspectives and empowering guidance from the tarot as interpreted by me. If you love the show, the best way to support it is by listening daily, leaving a review, and subscribing or following in your favorite podcast app. For monthly hangouts, tarot Q&As, individual readings, and more behind-the-scenes perks, join the Everyday Tarot Patreon family. If you're local to the greater Puget Sound area, you can join me Monday, May 12th from 4:45 to 7 p.m. at the Sumner Library for a potluck and create your own tarot cards. I'll bring all the supplies and we'll talk tarot and craft together. If you'd like to be the first to hear about upcoming events, presentations, musings, and more in my day-to-day life, you can sign up for my weekly newsletter. You'll also get my free PDF with the 2025 5-card tarot spread I created just for you at the beginning of this year when you sign up. If you don't already know, I'm a sex and relationships therapist seeing clients virtually all over Washington State. I love working with queer, poly, and witchy clients who might be struggling with anxiety, chronic pain or illness, communication issues, self-advocacy, and sex. If I sound like a good fit for you, please reach out and schedule a free 20-minute consultation so I can get to know you and how we might work together. You can find the links for any of these offers in the show notes or on my website, CamilleASaunders.com/everydaytarot, in addition to the images of the cards I pull. And welcome to Season 7. In this season, I'm talking all about the Suit of Pentacles, going through each card one per episode. If you haven't listened to my other seasons yet, you can go ahead and check those out. The first season was all about tarot basics. In Seasons 2 and 3, I went through the major arcana and the 4 suits, one per episode. In Season 4, I talked about tarot and pop culture. Season 5, I went through 13 common tarot spreads, and in Season 6, I talked all about the Suit of Wands. Like I said, now we're into Season 7, where I'm talking about the Suit of Pentacles. If you want to hear an episode dedicated to the overview of the Pentacles suit, you can check out Season 3, Episode 13, but today we're talking all about the Three of Pentacles. So, common images or symbols associated with this card are working together, collaboration, togetherness, friendship, or anything related to groups. The images for the cards I'm looking at today are from, the first one's from the Ophidia Rosa Tarot deck by Leela and Olive. In this one, there are some, it looks like sort of 2 different branches of plants that have little berries on them, sort of crossing in the middle for the Three of Pentacles, and then there's sort of like 3 glimmer marks from the top and the bottom on that card. It's mostly in sort of black and sort of sepia toned, but the berries depicted do have little red marks on them, like as if they were raspberries or some other kind of red berry. In the Therapist Who Tarot deck, prompts by Drea Bloom and images by Rebecca Bloom, there are 3 spirals depicted. So in this deck, the pentacles are depicted as spirals. If you think about pentacles as being a nature or earthy, grounded sign, right? Spirals are things that occur in nature, like a snail shell or other depictions of spirals that we see. And the word associated with this card on the Therapist Who Tarot deck is perfection. And we also get sort of like a glimmery aspect to this. There's like gold in the bottom of the card, and then this is done in watercolor, and so there's sort of like areas that are almost look like melting or fiery or something like that in the background. And then in the Sassarabito Tarot deck by Stacia Burrington for the Three of Pentacles, there's sort of, it looks like a very like Marvel Comics kind of card. Like there's 3 pentacles that are sort of depicted as coins, and then they're at the top of almost these like 3 pyramids, and then there's like a hand reaching out to 3 of like each of the pentacles or coins that are depicted there. So again, it sort of gives this like when you do like a group huddle and you all put your hands in the middle and then you go like 1, 2, 3, go. That's sort of like what it gives to me. And then this one, there's sort of like bluer green tones. And like I said, a lot of these like triangles or pyramids depicted within the pentacles as well. So if we look at the Library of Esoterica tarot book by Toshin, one of my favorites, they talk about that the Three of Pentacles is all about skill and cooperation. The Three of Pentacles is a card of collaborative action, celebrating unique potential and abilities, especially when working with others. So if we look in my tarot and astrology book by Karine Kenner, they talk about that the Three of Pentacles is associated with Mars and Capricorn. Mars is the warrior planet. He puts on a suit and goes to work when he takes over as sub-ruler of Capricorn's second decan. Mars is exalted in Capricorn. He's an honored guest and he's received with all the respect his station affords him. Mars loves to get down to business, to establish goals and objectives and execute a battle plan or a business plan. He's more than willing to give the devil his due in exchange for a corner suite in the tower office. From that vantage point, high in the chart and high in the sky, Mars can see the world, and the world can see him at work too. The 10th house describes career and social status. It's a prominent, visible position in a chart. In fact, the earthly 10th house is the perfect home for Mars's tower-like energy. Rather than wreaking havoc and destruction, however, Mars's lightning flashes of inspiration are grounded here, and that can lead to practical, profitable results. Simply picture the young man in the card as an aggressive captain of industry, with the full faith and credit of the investors and board of directors that are backing him. The Golden Dawn designers of this card called Mars and Capricorn the Lord of Material Works, because here Mars has the resources and the savvy to take action, make money, and create the change he wants in the world. Aren't those things we all want? Kabbalistically, the Three of Pentacles depicts Bina, the third sphere of understanding. It corresponds to Saturn, the planet of structure, and it's positioned in the Saya, the earthly world of physical manifestation. The young man in the card is learning how to find his place in the hierarchy of business, as well as how to understand and structure the time he invests with others. So, right, being very strategic about your actions and like how you work with others. In a tarot reading, the Three of Pentacles often represents the creative work of building a business through partnership, investment, and commercial enterprise. And the second decan of Capricorn usually falls between December 31st and January 9th when the sun is between 10 and 20 degrees Capricorn. All right, so that's a lot of astrology info, which is wonderful, which I love about that book because I'm still learning a lot of stuff about astrology. So it's very fun to see the correspondences with the different tarot cards. So in the Fearless Tarot book by Elia Adam, How to Give a Positive Reading in Any Situation, they talk about that the Three of Pentacles is all about the learning process. The Three of Pentacles depicts a young person learning a trade at a monastery. The card symbolizes the refinement of skills or talents. The Three of Pentacles exemplifies work that's worthwhile and meaningful. In order to excel at it, you must be patient with the learning process. This means being open to making mistakes and not giving up when setbacks happen. What skills are you currently learning? Are you expecting yourself to be perfect? Do you constantly compare your skills to those of others and feel that your abilities aren't enough? Although the Three of Pentacles symbolizes perfecting a skill, in quotes, it does not require us to be perfect. Quite the opposite, this card asks you to look at the big picture. Look at how far you've already come with what you've been learning. Look at what you can still achieve. Improvement can only happen if you remain teachable. No matter how good you are at your talent and skill set, you can always get better. Within the learning process, right, mistakes will be our best teachers. Mastering anything is about trial and error. You will make mistakes. The Three of Pentacles can also foretell beginning an area of study or an acquisition of important knowledge that will have long-term implications for your future. Be patient with the learning process. Recall the passion you once felt for the skills you're honing. It can also represent the manifestation of plans. The image, one of the monks is handing the workmen a set of plans for the architecture that they are chiseling. If you look closely at the plans, and this is in the traditional Rider Waite Smith depiction of the card, they reveal the exact scene the workman is creating. The card can symbolize planning, perfecting, and enacting ideas that are destined for realization. Aside from themes of learning and teaching, the Three of Pentacles represents collaborative efforts that will prove successful if you cooperate with others. I love that. I think I talked about it in another episode, but I just started working with one that's helping me working with someone that's helping me do the show notes and everything, and starting to create some more exciting social media posts for each of my episodes. And yeah, it's only been a couple of weeks now, and it already feels like very natural collaboration. I'm getting to see sort of the things that I can do better on. They're learning how to work with me best and sort of how we can work together. And today we were just figuring out some new things. So the theme of this card feels very resonant to me right now in my current work, even with the podcast. I'm going to pull. So let's dive in and see what the cards have to say today on this topic. So again, we're thinking about collaboration, of working on perfecting skills, but not being perfect, right? Nobody's perfect. And I'm going to again pull a card from my newest deck, the Citadel, a Fantasy Oracle by Fen Inkwright. And I'm just going to be thinking about, how can we better collaborate with others? What things are we manifesting? What is on the horizon? And how can we best sort of channel this learning and collaborative energy, this learning process, making mistakes, and not be too hard on ourselves, right? We have to also be kind, right? It's really hard to learn from your mistakes if you're just beating yourself up over them, right? And not kind of learning from it. So let's see here. I pulled the Champion, which is about achievement. And then I think the reverse of it is sort of about downfall. So I'm going to look up that card in my lovely book here. This is an oracle deck, so it is not aligned with tarot necessarily, although I know that this actually has sort of 4 suits in it. So the Champion, let's see, steel flashes in the sun, an opponent yields, the crowd roars. Victory is a heady brew, and the champion raises their arms, drinking in the praise and adoration. But overconfidence is blinding, and behind them, their opponent get back on their feet. You're riding high on victory at the moment, and you've earned the right to celebrate. But don't let it go to your head. Not only could arrogance uppick all of your progress, but if you turn your back on a half-finished job, you may see the successes fall apart faster than you can hold them together. And it says, I did pull this in reverse, and I wasn't sure if this deck lended toward reversals, but there is actually a reversal description in the book. And like I said, I just got this like 2 days ago, so I'm still learning about it. But it does say that reversed, it says, instead of triumph, you're experiencing defeat and lack of ambition. If this continues for too long, you may feel as though you're stagnating or losing interest in things that you previously had passion for. Emotionally, you may be needing some external support to bolster your belief in yourself. I think this is so perfect for this Three of Pentacles card about collaboration, right? It's sort of that, sure, we can like find this victory, right, if we sort of believe in ourselves, but when we're having a hard time, sort of maybe again we're beating ourselves up about something and we're looking back, why didn't I advocate for myself, why didn't I do things differently in the past, right? And that's when it could be, we can actually get really stuck if we're in that place and we don't have anyone in our sort of waiting in the wings or in our community or support to sort of remind us of what it's all about, right? What are we doing, what are our goals, and that we actually can achieve it, right? And that, right, if you look back even a whole year ago, right, which might feel like a really long time, or even a month ago, that things have changed, and sometimes we just get very short-sighted with our desire for things to move on faster. So thanks for joining me again on Everyday Tarot. The links for the tarot decks I talk about are in the show notes and on my website. And just as a reminder, this podcast comes out every day, Monday through Friday, for all 2025. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.